3 up, 2 across, tap that play button 3 times, and walk through the archway into Dialogue Alley. Hello and welcome to Dialogue Alley, a podcast about Harry Potter books, book translations, and all other things magical. I am Erik.
I'm Carly.
And I'm Melanie.
And today we are joined by a guest who's been with us before. You might know him as the Potter Collector. We know him by that also, but he also has a first name, and that name is Peter. Hi, Peter.
Hey, guys. Happy to be back.
I'm sure you have other names too, but we're just going to go with Peter for the first name. Maybe some nicknames you picked up along the way.
That question threw me for a loop.
Oh, okay. No childhood nicknames that you want to divulge?
No. Look, you put him on the
Silence.
No.
Cricket.
Silence.
Crickets.
Okay, I'll take that as a no. But no, we're glad you're back. You've been on a few times. We talked about Universal Orlando one time. We talked about collecting in general another time. And today we're going to talk about something that you haven't participated in, but it is in the series that we have started that Melanie has decided to call the What If series, which is when we come up with a bunch of what if scenarios.
It's fun.
That what if that actually happened in the book, or what if that didn't happen, and how would that affect not only that book, but the future installments in the series. So according to our notes that are always correct, we are on Goblet of Fire, so we'll be discussing that today. But before that, we're going to get into some news, and we are going to always talk about the translation of the show. I don't think you need me to tell you that we are Harry Potter book translation collectors, and we collect other stuff too, but that's kind of what we do. So if you're here, welcome aboard. Hope you enjoy this episode. It's going to be a fun one. And let's kick it off with some news, and that is going to be Melanie telling you about it.
Oh, thank you, Erik. That sounded like a broadcast transition, and going over to Melanie with the news. All right, so for news, I know that Erik is still battling some issues getting this Marathi book. How's that going?
It's not going. So the Marathi book was retranslated. We mentioned that at least a few times, maybe twice.
I think
and
every episode since you've decided you need it.
Yeah. So there are 2 translations that count because there are 2 translators, 2 different people that did a translation for that book. And I've been trying to get a used copy, and I just buy these used copies and they show up to my house and they're like a brand new copy, like sealed, which under normal circumstances, you'd be like, hot dog, this is a great deal. I just got this used book and it's brand new. Wow. No, not me. I want like the one from the bottom of the pile that's been in someone's basement that they're like, let me get rid of it because it's the old one with the translation.
The water stain. Give
translator.
Erik your old water stain Marathi.
Yeah. I don't necessarily care about condition. I care about preserving those lost lambs that need to find their way to a place where they will be able to live out their life in a green pasture, which I call my shelf in my basement. See my Macedonian book for photos.
I was going to say, have you seen his Macedonian?
There is a silver lining. There's a silver lining to your sadness, and that is you have so many of these new ones, and I don't have the new translation. So I'm going to snag one of the ones that you have. So there's a silver lining to all this. If you weren't searching for a new one, I never would have gotten one. So thank you for your searching.
Anytime. So I'm still in search of a Marathi book, original translation. I know Brock in our Discord has gotten one. One of them randomly showed up at his house, and it was the correct one. So
snaps for Brock.
So they're out there. The problem is a lot of these used sites, especially since Book Depository went away, like Thrift Books and Abe, like they have the book, and the stock image for the Marathi is the original cover. So they're slightly different. It doesn't say that It's been translated at the bottom. And when I've emailed sellers about this to avoid just buying the book and seeing what happens, they're all stored in like a warehouse somewhere. They can't actually see the book before they ship it. Could they?
Do they have different?
They just don't want to, right?
I bet they have different ISBNs as well. I can check.
Not that I'm aware of, though.
They should. They're different editions, but I don't know that they followed the rules.
Yeah, they should. They should have also told us that there was a new translation, and yet here we are.
Oh, Brock says that it's the same ISBN. So
same ISBN. That's
like pulling an Albanian.
Stinks.
That's awful because Albanians are all the same ISBN for all the different covers. That's just wrong.
Ugh. So I'm on the lookout. I might turn the knob from casual search to a little more
aggressive.
A little more of my time. Yeah,
a
little more aggressive. Not aggressive.
Anyway.
Dialed it up a bit. Anywho, so that's
dial it up
madness.
Before people learn that there are two translations, and then the market's flooded with people looking for.
I mean, that's the thing,
the original.
right? We find out all of this stuff like through our Discord and everything. Like people end up saying like, "Hey, just so you know, Marathi was retranslated." I wouldn't have known that if it wasn't for all of these people pointing it out. So.
But at the same time, it also depends on what your collecting criteria are. I know lots of people in our Discord have different collecting criteria. So some people just are like, it's one language. I got it. It's fine. I don't even care if it's the first book. So it's really just kind of us that are like, that's I think what our criteria
I would say
is, for mine, right? It's
for the four of us, I would say we all count like unique translations, because if we didn't, then books like Romanian or Turkish or Russian wouldn't count as a second translation. Those ones we all count. Like even Turkish has two different titles, and that's right, and was retranslated. So if we're gonna count that, why wouldn't we count this?
Right.
That's
but
true.
I can see people also it's the same Grand Prix cover art. It looks almost identical. It's not. It's not like, whoa, I need this new one, like the new Croatian, right? It's it's a cover that we hadn't seen before, and it's a new translation. So it's like, hey, I want this because it's new and exciting. It's just like, hey, it's a new translation, but it looks exactly the same. So I can see it both ways, but for me, I want it.
Well,
yes.
Here's a good thing for people that want books. I know of 2 sales that are going on right now as far as book sales. I know, Carly, you're selling some books on your website, and then Peter has his crazy 2 times a year Monzo Potter collector sale. So, Carly, what books do you have for sale right now?
There's a lot of people in our Discord too that are just selling.
I'm slowly adding.
Also,
I'm slowly adding books to it, so it'll wind up being a lot. Right now, there's maybe 10 or 15, but it's slowly going to have everything up there that I'll be putting up for sale, just because it needs to be rehomed.
Well, if you ever find your Finnish pre-movie books that we've been
talking
talking about
books
for
that I'm missing
50 years.
I know.
I don't know.
So many books
I feel like
that I haven't seen since.
We've been talking about that for such a long time. I'm like, Carly, I know you have it, but find it because I want it. I wish I could find some of my other stuff too. I know I had it at one point. That's okay.
The pre-movie Finnish are very pretty.
Oh, I
know. I have book 1, but I need the other ones.
Obviously. Okay, let me rephrase. The pre-movie Finnish 1 through 3 are so pretty.
Yes.
I know. You need the set. I like the set.
I agree.
You know.
There's some of my favorite pre-movies.
Have you reached out to our Finnish connection?
No, it's just I wait for the books to come to me. It's like the cat rule. Have you heard the rule about like you don't go out of your way to adopt a cat? Cats just find you when your soul is ready for a cat. That's how I feel about books. That's how in my life nowadays.
That's how I got into a concert one time downtown that was sold out. We held up our 20s and let the tickets come to us.
That's exactly what you got to do in life sometimes. And I wait for the books.
The tickets came to us and we went in and it was magical.
See? That's it. All right, Peter, tell us about your sale.
Well, by the time you're listening to this, the main sale is over. So I don't know if there's anything left. You can go on thepottercollector.com and see if there's anything left. that's it. That's all I can really say, because I don't want to be like, oh, I've got this, this, and this, because it may have sold out. Womp womp. So if you miss the sale, I'm sorry. There's some amazing, oh my gosh, there's some amazing Giles Greenfield artwork that he sent over. Oh my word. You can see pictures of it on my Instagram, the Potter Collector. Gorgeous pieces, and huge too. They're huge.
Really?
Gigantosaurus.
Oh my god. That's amazing.
I know. I saw
the dragon ones and was like dead. Like the one with the dragon over the clouds is like one of the coolest things I've seen him do.
He's so talented.
So talented. I know.
When you get those, do you say, by golly, Giles, you've done it again?
I absolutely did.
That's what I say when I see them.
Said, oh, by gosh, by golly, Giles.
I think
Giles, you've done it again.
Wow.
It's huge.
Wow, that is big.
Look, it's like bigger than my face.
It's so detailed too. Like the cliffside is just insane. And the tree below, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
So
amazing. And for those of you who don't know, Giles Greenfield is the illustrator of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, the UK edition, which is known for, like, it's Harry flying on a broom with a dragon in the background. He just does some really, really brilliant artwork. Mm-hmm. I think we all have, like, some Giles stuff. I have, I think, like 2 or 3. I think I have 3 pieces at this point.
I have 1. And I love
Yours, Carly, needs to be in color. It needs to be in color.
I know. He added the Moaning Myrtle, and I didn't even ask for that. He just, and she's my favorite part of the whole thing.
Good. Yeah, he's so good.
Yeah.
It would be stunning in color. It's stunning in black and white. It'd be stunning in color too.
I know. I was actually just looking at it across the room, and I was like, it needs to be in color. Yep. It really does.
Yep.
So good.
So that's the Potter Collector sale.
Hopefully there's still stuff around. I mean, hopefully and not hopefully. Like, hopefully you get rid of all of your stuff. But hopefully, if you're listening, there's still a couple stuff left that can be up for grabs.
I'm just picturing, like, that page in How the Grinch Stole Christmas, where, like, he takes everything and the house is just completely empty. There's, like, a piece of wire on the wall. Like,
I think
there'll be a little whatever.
I think he comes back for the wire too, though.
He would. He's the Grinch, after all.
I think he left some wire and a crumb too small for a mouse. I think that's all he left.
Well, not in the Jim Carrey Grinch movie. I think he took everything.
Wow. I'm sorry. I'm not as versed in that version.
It's one of my favorite Christmas movies. I just watched it a lot during Christmas time.
Well, all of the talk about Giles Greenfield and Goblet of Fire has me really wanting to talk about some what ifs when it comes to Goblet of Fire.
Okay, yeah. I think all of us are mind blown at that transition. That was brilliant.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you. Segment, we're talking about our What If series. We're continuing on. This is part 4 of our What If series. So as alluded, we will be talking about Goblet of Fire What Ifs today. And in the past when we've done this, we've kind of just come up with like these random what if things. I always say this is like dinner conversation for me and my husband, and my car ride just before coming here to record, we were talking about these the whole car ride here. So all right. Our first what if is, what if Arthur Weasley never got the top box tickets during the Quidditch World Cup? Like, what if he wasn't in the, like, essentially like the celebrity box seats? What do you guys think?
That was mine.
Ooh.
It took me a while to come up with like a really good one, and subjectively I think this one's a really good one. But you can disagree, and please do.
No,
I
already know where my brain's going.
Yeah, there are so many things that happen because they were in the top box, and remember, like, they can't afford tickets up there. He got them for doing a favor for somebody, because that's what he does. He helps people out of sticky situations sometimes, and they're in the top box. And we, of course, know that that's where Winky the house elf and Barty Crouch Jr. are sitting when, he takes Harry's wand, which leads him to doing the dark mark in the woods, which kind of spurs, some stuff going on. So I feel like maybe some of that stuff would have happened anyway, but it might not have happened like right then and there, right after the World Cup was done.
I think
like the other Death Eater stuff might have happened, but
I think he still would have been there, and I think he would have just stolen another wand, honestly. I think it was just a coincidence that he stole Harry's. Because all the bad stuff just happens to Harry. Like, that's the series,
But then coincidentally, when they're in the woods and he does send the dark mark up, that's when all the grown-ups apparate there and shoot stunning spells willy-nilly everywhere. And one of them hits Barty Crouch, and he's there, and then his dad finds him, right? And that's how he knows that he's been sneaking out, and then they have to, do all this other stuff. And so I don't know. I don't know if it would, like, drastically change the plot point, but I thought it was a good discussion because, like, what would it change and what wouldn't it change? So I like that you said he probably would have stolen another wand, because he probably would have, but would all the people have lined up and been in the same spot? Like, would Harry, Ron, and Hermione have been in the woods at the same time as him there? I don't know.
I think yes, but Harry would have had his wand, Like, that could have played a bit differently. Like, because he didn't realize that his wand was missing until afterward, right? Like, afterward, they were like, oh, whose wand is this? And Harry's like, oh my God, it's mine.
Yeah, they were in the forest, and they're like, let's do the Lumos spell so we don't trip over the ground, because that'd be dangerous. And then he's like, I don't have it. Whoops-a-daisy. It was sticking out of my back jeans pocket, and that's where, I'm like, okay, you look at the wand on the cover of the American Goblet of Fire, and that thing's like longer than my leg. And then you imagine that stuck in some kid's back jeans pocket. You're like, it's like poking him in the back of the head. That thing's huge. So I always got super giggly when they get to that part in the Jim Dale audiobook, because, like, that would be crazy. Plus, even if it was like the size of a pen, I wouldn't put it in my back pocket. You just sit down and
it's probably like your cell phone, Like, I put my cell phone in my back pocket. I feel like our cell phones are like these little kid wizard wands. So they probably just, stick in your back pocket. And there you go. Easy for grabbing.
I'm a front pocket phone guy.
I don't know.
Front pocket phone?
Yeah, me too. I'm a front pocket phone guy, or a hand pocket phone.
Most women's jeans don't have front pockets that are worth anything.
Yeah, exactly. So it's got to be
I can put like my pinky in barely a pocket.
You guys, that's why they sell all these Harry Potter mini backpacks and fanny packs. That's the reason.
All right, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. All right, so I think, like, moral of the story would be, like, I definitely think Barty Crouch Jr. would have gotten another wand from somewhere and followed through with everything. Like, I feel like it wouldn't have been that much different had they not been in the box.
Would he have gotten caught, though? Because then would he have gotten caught, and would Winky have been fired and then sent to work at Hogwarts? Like, he probably would have gotten caught, right? There's no way to avoid that.
What do we learn from Winky in the kitchens, from what she says and what she tells Dobby, and then Dobby tells Harry? Is there are there important plot points that we learn through them? So if she wasn't fired, no, she probably would have still been fired.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he still escaped, like,
or I
the top box and was running around. Well, and I think he fires her for, like, letting him get a wand. So he still would have gotten a wand.
Yeah,
True.
Right. Still would have been fired.
But at the time,
if she hadn't been fired,
the thing is
if
that
she hadn't been fired, Voldemort would have changed his mind and just not come back.
But we don't know that it's Barty Crouch that does the dark mark. They think that it's Winky that does the dark mark. No. So
right, that's why they.
Right.
That's why the other people are like, hey, and then Barty Crouch Sr. is like, I got this. It's my responsibility.
Right.
Then he fires her.
Poor Winky.
I don't know.
I
And
know.
then she starts drinking butterbeer.
Then she starts
It goes
drinking.
down the
downhill.
tubes. Yep.
It's all downhill from there. Poor Winky.
Yep.
Oh,
But I
ooh.
mean, do you
sad.
blame her? That's traumatic. She's gone through some trauma. Not
Poor-
like that's the healthy way to deal with it, but I can see where,
She needs some therapy, some wizarding therapy.
yeah, she needs
Yeah.
someone to talk to.
All right. What if Fleur hadn't been part Vila? Would that change things in any way? I mean, maybe Ron. See, this could have gone this way, but it's a bit of a stretch. Maybe Ron wouldn't have been distracted by her and like put his energy into asking her to the Yule Ball, which obviously we know didn't end well. And then maybe he would have focused more attention onto Hermione, and maybe he would have ended up asking Hermione to the Yule Ball.
Maybe. I was just curious, like, for me, because I don't know how Fleur being part Vila added anything to the story other than it was just kind of a conversational piece. Like in any of the books, really. I don't think that it added or took away.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, I
she
agree.
was like,
I think the only reason I think that's the reason why Ron was so enthralled by her, but she could have just been a pretty girl
Right.
yeah.
and not part Vila, you know. So I agree. I don't think it added or subtracted anything to the story personally.
That's just honestly something that when I first read the book years ago, when it very first came out, that was something that was like, how does this move does it do anything, or is it just like a fun little detail about it, like
I
a
think
background?
I think it just ties back to the fact that the Bulgarian mascots were Vila and
Vila, yeah.
and that like kind of foreshadowed in some way that like, oh, now we know other Vila. I don't know. I know that her wand core was also Vila, which
And
I don't think
Vila
that would
hair.
affect anything like in
Yeah.
any way. And then David in like our live chat is saying like, is that how she captured Bill's attention by being a Vila? But I think that she had a crush on Bill first. It wasn't that she caught Bill's attention. She was
Yeah.
interested in Bill.
Doesn't the book says like she was looking at Bill and it didn't seem like she had a problem with long hair and earrings.
Right.
I'm like,
Yeah.
Whoa.
She's got a crush on
Ha.
Bill. Different Weasley.
And then I immediately started growing my hair and getting more earrings.
More earrings.
I
After
just
reading
always
that.
When I was a kid
pictured
and I
it's
read-
like a
when I read that
dangling
book as a kid.
thing. It's like I always
Yeah,
pictured it as like a
fang.
little, like a. It's just Bill. What are we doing? All right.
Being
What?
like the band AFI.
Oh, this is kind of one that I was talking about before. What if Dobby hadn't given Harry the hint about gillyweed? Like if Dobby hadn't like
The hint or just told
Given-
him. He just
told
told
him
him
about the
It wasn't a hint.
gillyweed.
It's
Right.
Like, hey, here it is.
No, he literally gave it to
him
him.
the right.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I think Barty Crouch Jr. would have found some other way to slip in some sort of. Although it was the morning of, so
Yeah. Like
maybe
it
that
came
would
down,
have been
But
it.
it came down to the wire.
what are the repercussions though of like getting no points for task 2? Like you start
It just-
last in the maze.
Yeah, you
Right.
start
like,
last.
and that wouldn't have,
Yeah.
True.
and he would have still
Yeah, he still would have
blasted everything out of the way. So
right.
I think,
It
but
would've-
Harry being Harry, he would have panicked about it. Like, I think we would have seen him like have this Harry Potter meltdown where he couldn't go, because he was trying to not only save his person, but he wound up trying to get other people out because it's Harry, So I think he would have been panicking, even if he couldn't have gone down there. Like, he would have sulked afterward, and I'm such a failure, and oh my word, these teenage angst about how he, screwed up terribly.
I just could picture
But-
him like swimming at the surface with a snorkel, like
I was going to say that.
taking
like
a deep
just
breath.
paddling around.
However,
Uh,
overlooked plot point here: his watch wouldn't have broken, and he would have been able to tell time the rest of the book.
Whoa!
Yeah,
I know that's neat.
I don't know how that would have helped him, but maybe
It
he was
could
late
have.
and
It could have.
I mean,
Yeah.
he did master Accio, so maybe
could have
he would have
summoned a
summoned
snorkel.
from snorkel gear or some scuba gear.
Well, he
I mean,
didn't
he would
mention
know.
that?
He would know about it.
He
you know,
he
you would know
mentioned
about.
that in the book, though. He mentioned about
Yeah.
like I think they called it like an aqua
Aqualungs.
lung, right?
That's what they
Yeah.
call
Like
them
I
over
was
there.
summoning an
Yeah.
aqua lung.
Someone from a nearby Muggle town.
But then he says, even if he was to summon the Aqualung, how would he learn how to use it in such a short amount of time?
That's why I'm saying a snorkel.
Plus, he wouldn't be certified, right?
True.
He wouldn't be certified in that.
That's a little dangerous.
Then he'd
Yeah.
get bends.
That's very dangerous.
Like that wouldn't be good. That would not be a good. That wouldn't be a good
Nope.
end.
Don't know.
What? Ooh, this is kind of interesting. What if the Triwizard tournament had been held somewhere else? Like, what if it was held at Durmstrang? Well,
It would
I
have been
mean-
very cold.
We wouldn't have had a book because Harry wouldn't have gone.
right, Harry. I feel like they
Oh
wouldn't
yeah,
have
true.
even gone.
Exactly. Good point.
Because they wouldn't have been of age.
good
so
We would
there
have had
wouldn't
some
been...
other plot shenanigans.
I mean, maybe, but I don't know. Like, I think it would have been cool. Like, let's say Harry went. I think it would have been neat to see what another like wizarding school looked like.
Yeah.
well, I agree, but I don't know why they would bring him. It's like we're gonna bring some 7th-year kids.
Harry-
You know what?
It's Harry Potter. They
He's
would have
famous.
figured.
He's gonna get us some
They
cred.
would have figured
some
out
street
how to
cred
make
while
him
we're
go.
there.
Yeah, they would have figured
Yeah.
out some weird thing, like some weird device to make him go. Whether it's like broom salesman or like honorary Hogwarts
No,
mascot
he could wear
guy.
He could wear the Hogwarts mascot costume.
Yeah,
He could be
the dancing
mascot.
wand.
Well, if you think about it, like Fleur's little sister got to go, even though she was younger. So she went to Hogwarts. But did she just go?
No,
Her
she
sister
didn't-
was one of
no,
the
that she-
champions, though.
I don't think she went. I think she was
Well, they-
brought for the second task, wasn't she? Is there mention that she
maybe.
was there at the beginning? I
No,
don't
I
remember.
don't think so.
That was
No,
actually a
but
question
she was
I was going to
in the
ask.
second task, and then she went to the third task because their families were in that room off
Yeah.
the Great Hall.
I mean, in the movie she's there, but she's not. I don't think in the book. I think in the book she's brought.
Yeah, for
Brought
that.
from
Everybody's
France.
there in the movies except for the characters that are important.
Yeah.
We introduce them in movie 7,
There you
right
go.
before they need to do something important.
Of course, of course. In true
That makes
Harry
sense.
Potter movies fashion.
What if we met different school champions aside from Harry? What do you mean by that?
Like if we
Met-
would have like if other school champions would have been chosen instead of like Cedric or whatever, like would Cedric still have been the one that they wound up, spoiler alert, dying essentially, or like what what I mean? Like how would that change things? I
don't
think it
think
would
it
have been
would change-
interesting.
Like, what if the Weasleys were like able to be like chosen? Like that'd have been kind of cool.
It would have been really fun and probably funny because the hijinks they would have gotten into,
Oh, I'm
which
sure
would
they
not
would
have been solving the tasks.
Up
That would
in
have
all
been the
sorts of
last thing
I
I'm
guess
sure
it
they did.
depends. It depends on who the person's personality would be, because
But
then
also
you
like
get
Victor
into-
Crumb, because we wouldn't have Victor Crumb be a champion. We would have somebody else. So how would that have changed things? Because part of it, he was very famous. He was this cool whatever, and there was a lot of hype around him.
All right. So wait,
If it
that
was
goes. Go ahead, Peter. Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was gonna like completely change the topic, so I'd rather you talk
Oh.
and keep it on the topic.
I was just gonna say, if it was another Gryffindor or a Slytherin, I don't think that either one of them would have agreed to grab the cup at the same time. It had to be a
Say that.
Hufflepuff.
and
Yeah.
to help each other with the first 2 tasks. He told him about
Ye-
the dragons. He told
Yep,
him
that
about
too.
taking the bath.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that dynamic between the two, and that dynamic partially exists too because they met previously going to the World Cup, on top of the hill with the Portkey. Like they had some interaction, and they had some like Quidditch history, and like when he fell off his broom and lost that match, and he's like, Cedric tried to like call it off and have a redo. Like we already know that he's got like these really good honorable qualities for like
Yeah.
fairness and such. So yeah, I agree with you. If it was the Slytherin or a Gryffindor, they'd been like, nope. Mine.
Mine, eternal glory.
How about we share? Nope.
Nope, not Sharon. Well,
They just zoom.
I feel like another what if that I mentioned kind of like ties into that because I put what if Bulgaria won the cup, like if they won the Quidditch World Cup, because I imagine then I imagine Victor Crumb would be going on some sort of like world tour, like all these parades, and whatever, and he would have like probably been unavailable. Like he probably wouldn't have gone back to school. He's a Quidditch world champion who won the Quidditch World Cup for Bulgaria. Like I doubt he already had that amount of glory.
Surprising he's at school anyway.
Like, well, yeah, but like, why would he have to
play
go
for a team?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He wants to finish his schooling. I don't know.
Oh,
that's sweet.
Harry never did.
Yeah, seriously. But
he's the chosen one.
That's true.
Yeah, he's got enough notoriety. He doesn't
Ron
have to worry
didn't
about it.
either. He's not. Definitely not.
Have you guys listened to the Quidditch Through the Ages audiobook by chance? It's like a vague question. Because when you listen to the audiobook, there's this added chapter about the 2014 Quidditch World Cup. And how like Victor Crumb like comes back and comes out of retirement to play in this World Cup, and he like comes back and wins, and they do this whole like narration of like an actual Quidditch match. It's so cool. But like my brain went in that direction. Like if he won the Quidditch World Cup in this round of it, whatever, then like it wouldn't have been that big of a deal for him to come back in 2014 out of retirement because he would have already won it. But yeah, you guys should listen to that audiobook. It's pretty fantastic.
Cool.
All right. What if Cedric lived? Well, spoiler alert, but that's literally the entire plot of Cursed Child.
My arch nemesis.
Peter's favorite of the books.
My favorite fan fiction, approved by J.K. Rowling. I think the biggest thing is if he lived, we may not have Weasley's Wizards of Wheezes. Because then Harry and Cedric would have split the winnings, and is 500 galleons enough to open up a joke shop? I don't think so. Not in Diagon Alley.
Not in Diagon Alley. I was going to say, maybe in like some other rinky-dink town that we don't even know exists.
Maybe Nocturne Alley.
So he had to die for us to get Weasley's Wizard Wheezes.
Aw,
maybe a
I didn't even
kiosk
think
at
of
the
that.
airport.
Like just a little booth in your mall.
a little kiosk, yeah.
Yep.
Like next to the Bridgestone.
It would have been owl order still.
Yeah.
Sample, they just spray it in.
Aw. Oh, that I didn't even think about that.
Well,
so that's
Cedric was a 7th year, so I mean, I think I think if he had lived, the only thing that would have changed would have been like Harry's mental state.
Well, and would he have been able to?
But he would have also had a witness
validate
to Voldemort,
Harry's
story,
right?
Right.
Oh, true. A lot. Yeah, that's true. A lot would have happened.
They built a lot on Voldemort's alive. You say he's alive, but we're gonna disregard that. Would they be trying to also trash, Cedric and, say he's unreliable and crazy as well to sell their narrative that Voldemort's still gone? Like they did Harry, essentially, and say he's, crazy and blah, blah, blah. Would they have upped the propaganda, essentially, to ruin his reputation as well? Because it's just one. Now they're bringing Cedric into it. And we know his dad was very well liked. So how would that go and affect all of that, too? Like, I think it could be... Go on.
Yeah.
His dad would have gone to bat for him.
Absolutely.
Right? To be like, no, he's not lying. He's telling the truth. So, yeah.
Yeah, his dad would have absolutely. And then that would have been like Fudge essentially going up against his dad. And, it could have been a lot. Like it could have gotten even worse. Like talk show, Jerry Springer kind of going on.
Well, also in that same breath, like Harry might not have ended up with Cho. Like in book 5, which I don't know how much that would have really changed too much. But if Harry
We wouldn't have
Like,
had to
Cho
endure the
was
chapter
still-
about Madame Puttyfoot's coffee
Oh
shop.
my god, how awkward! Like secondhand
We could have
embarrassment
just
that
skipped
whole
that
chapter.
Oh,
Yikes!
gross.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Another reason why Order of the
Those
Phoenix
guys
is the
just
worst.
I love that book,
Throwing
but not
confetti
for that
into their
chapter.
coffee.
Oh god.
That sounds like the worst place to go ever. Like,
Yeah.
it's hot and steamy. They
And
serve
it has
coffee.
a weird name.
Right?
Everyone's kissing around you, and then like, they throw confetti. They throw confetti into your coffee.
I wouldn't like that.
It's like,
mainly 'cause
thanks.
was
Now I
drinking
can't even
coffee,
drink it.
Can't even drink it.
Can't even drink it.
It reminds me of the Schitt's Creek episode where they go to the hotel and they pretend to be newlyweds. And have you guys seen Schitt's Creek?
That's such a funny show.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they have this special like newlywed table in the restaurant and they're throwing confetti and anyway, sorry. But that's what it reminds me of.
Oh man.
You
can cut that out of the podcast.
No, we
it's
love
okay.
referencing. Didn't you? Melanie and I talked about our favorite Disney characters for like 10 minutes last episode.
It had to happen. Wait, Peter. What are your
What?
top 5 Disney characters?
Well, my favorite is Ursula.
Okay.
Oh, she's wonderful.
But you have to name your top 5. Like, who are your top 5?
That's
your
gotta be
dream
5.
team.
I think that's difficult.
I know.
It is. That's
To
why
be put on the
Melanie put me
spot?
on the spot.
Yeah,
Okay,
I put
so you're
everybody
on
on
the
the
Figure it
spot.
out on the spot.
All right, so Ursula.
Are you a Mowgli guy?
No, I'm
So
not.
random.
The village girl with the water on her head?
He could be.
I feel like I want to pick one of the big 5, but none of them are really jumping out at me as wanting to be picked. This is a very hard question.
I know.
Oh,
I
I
picked
know.
Magic Carpet for one of my top
Oh,
5.
interesting.
I mean, that's an amazing choice.
Mm-hmm.
I know. You
The magic carpet.
Carpet really does a good job.
can ride
though.
on him.
Yeah.
All right, Peter, you
He's
have the rest of this episode to
multifunctional.
think about it and then get back to us.
All right. Okay,
All right,
deal.
just let it sit in the back of your brain. All right,
Okay.
let's do one more. And this was one that Alon and I were talking about, and it took up majority of our car ride. Was what if Harry told Sirius and or Dumbledore about his dream, that he had the dream? So because when he's writing the letter to Sirius, like on the train, he specifically leaves out the fact that he had this dream / premonition / was vision of what Voldemort was seeing or Nagini was seeing, that Voldemort was coming back. He just tells Sirius that his scar hurt. And then Sirius tells Dumbledore that. But like, what if word got back to Dumbledore sooner that Harry was having these visions? Thoughts?
I mean, the go-to is still when Dumbledore does find out, he makes Snape do the occlumency stuff.
I guess he would have
Okay.
done that
And,
sooner.
and then in hindsight, he's like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that. It wasn't a great match. Maybe he didn't try as hard. So I don't know if he would have
But
just done that same thing, but done it earlier.
But also, like, do you think
Or
that
if
it would
he-
have given Dumbledore a bit more insight that, like, oh my God, I should be putting my attention at the fact that Voldemort's actually actively trying to come back. Like, obviously we know this, but like, it's happening in book 4. It's happening. He's trying to come back, and he's got these servants. Wormtail escaped, and he has active allies right now. Maybe I should focus on that instead of a Triwizard tournament right now. Like, maybe that, like, how active he was in like book 6, where he was like going out and about and abroad and trying to find all of this information. Like, do you think it would have lit the fire under Dumbledore sooner had he known? And then possibly he could have prolonged Voldemort coming back if he knew sooner about Harry's connection?
He might have known where Voldemort was. right? He'd be like, "Oh, he's at the house. Let's get him.
He's real weak. Let's
Send
go
the
get
SWAT
him."
team. He's weak. He's in a chair. Get
But
him.
did Dumbledore start his quest to find, the Horcruxes in Goblet of Fire?
No.
Would he have known about the old Riddle estate at that time?
Well, I think he knew who his father was
True.
the whole time.
Yeah, true.
So, and he says he reads the Muggle news because he likes something. I can't remember what he says he likes about it. But so he would have heard about the murder, and he does say like the murders that aren't reported by the Daily Prophet, and he's like, I found one kind of suspicious, like a Muggle of Frank Bryce in this village. He says that to him, so that did kind of raise a little bit of suspicion, even without the dream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that, he realizes that they're connected in some way, right? As of book 5, because of occlumency. Like, that's when he realizes, okay, Harry's got this connection. He doesn't know yet that it's Horcruxes, but he knows that he has some sort of connection. And you could argue to say that he knew about this connection even sooner because of the fact that Harry could speak Parseltongue. So, like, that could show you that he knows that a connection exists that is strong, powerful, potent between the two of them. But I feel like maybe Dumbledore just didn't yet realize like how important that connection was. I don't know.
Or maybe how strong that connection was. He may not have. I don't know that if he told him about his dream, I don't know that it would have spurred Dumbledore to act any sooner. Or act any
He might have just been on his.
He
might have been on his toes a little bit more, and maybe recognize the fact that it's not Moody.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like he would have been a bit more vigilant. Like, not to be ironic, because Mad-Eye Moody, constant vigilance, but
constant vigilance, yeah.
Well, maybe he would have consulted those little like trinkety things that whiz and whir and blow smoke on his spindly table.
All the trinketies.
And then,
all the trinketies.
Yeah, and then ask those enigmatic questions like something. Harry's like, huh? And he's like, I know. I see the smoke.
Yeah,
no,
sure, Dumbledore.
You
that
loony. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know. I just feel like
that's what he says. He's like, but something divided? Like, he's like talking to himself.
Yeah. There's so much in these books that I wish that
in essence divided? That's something like that.
There's just so many times I feel like we like underestimate Dumbledore, or like not underestimate, but we like don't think to give him credit in some things. Like I would like to assume that he knew more things that were going on than I don't know. Or maybe I'm giving him too much credit and thinking like he's Dumbledore, he's all knowing, but like I don't know, he didn't know that like Quirrell was half Voldemort for a year. Like,
well, and I feel like later on in the books, and these are like in like 4, like in this area specifically, 4, 5, 6, we learn that he isn't all knowing, that he is human, that he is fallible, and that he does make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the areas where it's a giant oversight. So I still think, like, even if he had said, I'm having these dreams instead of my scar hurts, I feel like, I don't know that Dumbledore would have, I think he would have, like what we said, paid closer attention, but I don't know that he would have done anything any sooner. Because I don't know that he would have been able to piece part that information together any sooner. Because it's still, we all know how everything ends, and he didn't at that time. So I don't know.
I wish we could have like a Lion King 1.5 type thing.
I would love that. Oh my gosh!
But it's just like the Dumbledore,
like from Dumbledore's
version.
Perspective. Like, that'd be so cool.
I knew the whole time.
I love Lion King 1.5.
Oh, it's one of my favorites.
A brilliant movie.
Because of the hyena comes song
quick before the hyena comes. It's instantly where my head went.
Such a brilliant movie.
That's so good. Oh, that'd be so cool. Like the whole thing, but from
That would be
Dumbledore's
awesome.
perspective. Yeah. Come on,
Maybe
Joe.
they'll flesh out some things in the HBO series.
That'd be
Yeah.
very cool.
Maybe, because I
That
always
would be
wonder, like, when in book 7, and this is not related to book 4 at all, but I was just thinking about this because I just listened to book 7. Like when he says, like, to Snape, keep an eye on Quirrell, won't you? Like in book 1, it's like, what's Snape gonna do? Like, if he knows that Quirrell's like up to no good, and he's like asking Snape to keep an eye on him, but like he still does all this stuff anyway, like, what did he know? Or did he just like know and was like, yeah, you could deal with it, I don't feel like it.
We got to get
We'll be able
Voldemort
to
back
stop.
sometime so that we can get rid of him for good, you know?
Yeah, so he's got to come back, and I got other stuff going on. So just
I've got a school to
watch him.
run. I mean, come on.
Well,
We'll send the 11-year-olds down, and they can put his hands on his face and burn him, and then
yeah, it'll
Yeah.
be fine.
Good.
I mean, I think
So
like
all
a
this
good...
talk about... Well,
Go ahead.
sorry, finish your sentence because this
No.
has nothing to do with the podcast.
No, I want to know exactly what you were saying.
Okay, just after the podcast, remind me to show you something related to Tom Riddle that I thought was brilliant. Anyway, that's it.
Okay, I will.
Okay. Sorry, Tommy, for that break.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I think a good thing to sum this up, and like this wasn't the original like thought anyway, but like a cool way to sum it up is like this is kind of like a cool realization that like Dumbledore is human, because I go through so many like plot holes and things that could be solved by like Dumbledore should have known that, like, or why didn't Dumbledore do this, or why didn't Dumbledore do that, and like I don't know, just having this like kind of realization right now, like, oh yeah, wait, Dumbledore's human first and like isn't all knowing. It's just kind of like a kind of cool realization, even though like I think he should know everything because he's Dumbledore, but he doesn't. He's just a person with a million names.
Yeah, so many names.
I know. All right, so it's our translation of the show. It's time for the tots, and it is the Swedish anniversary edition of book 1, and these are actually illustrated by Olly Moss, and I believe, and all 1 through 7 were made with Olly Moss covers. I believe, though, this is unique art to the Swedish books, isn't it? The Olly Moss you can buy, I think, in posters or something, but if you want this on a book, you have to buy the Swedish, correct?
Yes, I believe you're correct in that.
Okay. And, all right. Let me get to the right page of the notes. Sorry, Tommy. So the book itself, it doesn't look like the other Swedish books, like just to describe it really quickly. It's a flexi cover. So meaning that the paste downs are actually bound into like a flexible cover. So it's stiffer than a soft cover, but it's not a hardback. There's not a board in there. And it's a really different shape than what you see with the Swedish books. It's not like an almost wonderful square. And it's
still pretty wonderful, but it's not a...
it's an almost wonderful rectangle.
It's an
It
almost
is, but
wonderful
we have
rectangle.
We have to get into that when we get into our Todd scale. Like, I didn't want to give too much
I know.
away.
I know.
Because I can hear Melanie going, we're going to talk about this later. Hold on. So
Stick to the
I held
rubric.
on. I know. I held on and I just, talked about
It's
how
okay.
it's
You're doing great.
different than the square. The translator, it's the same text block, right? So it's still translated by Lena Friesjedden and published by Rabin and Sjogren. So it's the publisher that I think absorbed Tiden, which was the first publisher of the Swedish books, and then it changed to Rabin and Sjogren, and then they produced these. So really quick, some general information on Swedish. It is a North Germanic language and is spoken in Sweden as well as Finland. About 10 million people speak this language, and it is the fourth most spoken Germanic language. Also, interestingly, Swedish, as our other Nordic languages, is a descendant of Old Norse, which I think is so cool. Swedish is also mutually intelligible with Danish and Norwegian, dialect depending.
That's really cool.
I know! I could have gone on, but I had to stop myself. It's just really, really cool. So I guess on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being most difficult, how hard is it to get this book today? And you can still get it at the publisher, so not
hard.
I will say getting books out of Sweden can be difficult because while you might can find the book, getting people to want to mail the book to anywhere that's not in Sweden can be a bit difficult.
What was that Swedish website that they had so many Swedish books on it? I think
I was trying.
Saved
I
it.
loved that.
I know what you're talking about because that's how
Like, they had
my original Swedish
so
books.
many.
I got so many books off of there. That's where I got my adult edition Swedish book 1.
Is
I
it?
think.
Do we have that in our resources tab?
That's what I'm looking at right now. Book
I'm sure
Borsen.
I saved.
I've bought so many books off of there, but it's been a bit. But it was such a great resource.
Here, I'm gonna put it in.
This is where like
the little chat. I'm pretty sure it's this, Peter.
the book
if you can see it.
depository going away was sad because
there we
you
go.
could get the Swedish books on book depository.
Yeah, that's it.
Like, that was easy peasy.
I got all
Yep.
of these, I think, from Abe. Or maybe it was book depository before it went out. No, I think it was Abe. I got the whole set.
How?
Yeah, so
how
anyone
did we
listening
get-
who needs a Swedish book, bokborsen.se, bokborsen.se. They have tons of Swedish books for sale.
Yeah. Everything. Like you can find anything. Any
Yep.
of these Swedish books.
How did we get our copies?
Abe.
I think I got mine from the publisher.
I think I did too. I'm trying to remember. It's been a minute. When did they come out? When did this guy come out? Was it 2000? When did you come out?
I don't think the book's going to answer.
It could.
It might, and if it does, it would be in Swedish.
2007.
Right.
2019. 2019.
Oh yeah, this edition 2019. So okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I got mine. Oh, I got mine from Finland, actually. Asked about it in a store and sent it to me.
Oh, it's amazing.
Because you can buy all the Swedish books in Finland, too.
You can.
So maybe,
And-
Mel, you'll find the Finnish books that you need on Bob Borkson or whatever it's
I know,
called.
you know what? I haven't thought to do that, but yeah, I have to take like a deep look. But that's like going way out of my way to go find a book.
And what about value? We already kind of touched on it because the books are still available at the publisher. I do know like the first edition Swedish, even, pre-movie as well, but the first edition Swedish, because they're so pretty, tend to sell for a translation that's still relatively easily found between $40 and $60 pretty easily because they are so pretty and people want them and they don't necessarily want to wait to hunt one down or find someone who can ship it out of Sweden. So they'll just pay $40 to $60 typically to have someone mail it.
But not the
No, the OG.
That's
the Olly Moss
that's the
one.
first
The
edition.
OG.
The
These,
original,
say.
the original Gangster Sweden.
Yeah.
these I don't see
Yeah,
around nearly
yeah.
as much. Like they're around, but I don't see them on e-commerce sites as much. I really like them, but they're very different comparatively to the
They're
original
niche.
Swedish.
I feel like they're very niche in comparison.
But I
I
also
would agree
feel
with
like,
exactly that.
I also, to your point, Carly, like people don't want to go through the trouble of, ordering from a Swedish site or, having things shipped from Sweden. So some collectors are happy to let others do the work for them.
Right.
And so I wouldn't be surprised if this sold for $30 to $40.
I would say
Yeah.
between 30 and 50 is what I would say, because they don't have to hunt down somebody who may not speak English all that well to mail it to them.
Yeah,
And if it's
yeah.
somebody you don't know, you're trusting your money with somebody you don't know to essentially do you a favor.
Yeah, totally.
So, I see people paying actually around 50 for that, because it's worth the premium, which is essentially what you're paying for at that point. Plus, the shipping out of Sweden is not cheap.
Well, right. Like that whole area, I just had one book that I was helping someone get, and so I got it from Finland also, and just the shipping was over $50 just for the shipping of one book in a small little package.
Crazy.
So like that,
Yeah,
it's crazy. So yeah, like it's not hard to get. It's a regular price book. You can get it at the store for a normal price. But again, when you factor in that cost of shipping, you can do it yourself. But if you want to like team up with some people and do a group order, or honestly, this book, and we'll talk about it in a second, like this might be one where you'd want the whole set. So like you can pay shipping and just get all of them. Same with like the OG Swedish.
Yes.
If you want them and you're going to get one from Sweden or Finland, you might as well just get them all if you're going to get them eventually, because then you only pay shipping
one time
once, and
Yeah.
you're not doing it over and over. So it's a lot to ship, but that's just kind of that's the price you pay.
Yeah. You get to bite the bullet once
Importing
instead
books.
of multiple times. Okay, let's do the Todd scale. I think we're ready to put the book through the Todd scale. I'm actually really excited for this one. Not that I'm not for the others. But we've not done this edition at all before, so this will be neat. What do we think of the smell?
Honestly, mine is an O because it smells like absolutely nothing. So like it's great that it has zero like scent of chemical or anything. I mean, I love the smell of chemically books and paper, but like this, I have to give this an O because it's like scentless.
I want to know what I gave the Japanese book, because that was the same and it smelled like nothing. And to get a book to smell like nothing,
It has to be
I can't
pretty
remember
right
if I gave
on.
it an E or an O.
I think it deserves an O.
I think
Yeah.
so, because I think I said in that episode it could easily go wrong with the glue with the pages, but it's really hard to make it go like nothing.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, because even like a good smell, like the one that like Melanie's like, oh my gosh, I could smell this book for days. Slovak,
Always.
right?
Always.
But like
You know
I
how
could
I feel
smell
about
that and
Slovak.
subjectively be like, I don't like it. That's not true, because that's the best smell ever invented. But like subjectively, there's nothing to smell here. So
Right.
Yeah.
everyone's a winner.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I'm going to just go acceptable because it just falls right in the middle for me because it doesn't have a smell.
Okay, everyone is not a winner.
I'm
just going acceptable. I like my books stinky.
I'm gonna say exceeds expectations because it's a really nice nothingness. But I
I love
kind
how
of
we're
like,
all just rating no smell in such a different
I
way.
know.
Yeah,
But I like
that's
my
the
books.
excitement. Where else?
Like my favorite book smell, I want to say it was the all-in-one German or whatever, the one that was like where we all decided it was like very woodsy or something. It smelled
Oh, that was
Yeah, it
so
smelled
good.
like wood.
so good. I could have smelled that book forever, right? It was like walking into a Payless shoe store. It was awesome.
I do smell this book forever. I smell it like every day when I'm not smelling
smell it right now.
I smell this book. It's the same.
So I'm gonna say
I'm
exceeds
smelling it now.
expectations.
I'm smelling it when I'm not even smelling it.
It. I would to get an outstanding, you have to actually smell. You have to be good at smelling, and this isn't good at smelling. It smells like nothing.
Calling me a bad
But
smeller.
if it exceeds
No, I'm telling the book-
expectations, it
doesn't
means like you
stink.
had an expectation of what it would have smelled like.
I expected it to smell like the OG Swedish, which it did not.
Where else on the internet can you listen to four people talk about what nothing smells like and give their opinion on
On nothing. On
if
the
you
smell
think
of
nothing is a good
How
smell,
would
if you think
rate-
nothing is merely an acceptable
Only
How would
here
you
at
rate
Dialogue
the smell
Alley.
of nothing? You smelt it here first, folks.
What about the size and proportions?
I'd give it an outstanding for size and proportions. I love it. I love that it's just like tall.
I agree. It's the perfect size.
I love her.
I'm gonna say outstanding as well.
Eric?
Well, this is one where I think this book's outstanding, but as they start to get thicker, it might be harder. But we're just talking about this one.
That's a good point.
And so I would give this one an outstanding. And I say that when they're a little bit smaller books, and it's hard for a like book 4, 5, or 6 to be an outstanding, but like this, the way it is now, it's an outstanding. Like, can you imagine like a Kamai book 5? Like that would be just absolutely.
Oh, it would be so floppy.
I'd love that.
Like we'd hold it by the spine, and it would just be like the saddest book ever because it would just flop.
It would, yeah. You'd hold it up like upright, and it would like flop forward as you tried to like show it to someone. Yeah, but no. So this book, I would give it outstanding. Later in the series, I would see my rating change.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But this book, outstanding. How does the book feel in your hand? It's an outstanding for me.
I think it's
easily.
This exceeds expectations for me because I wish it had that soft coating. Like this looks like a book that should have that soft coat on it, or whatever it's called.
I love it.
It's
I love how smooth it is.
Soft.
No, but you know what I mean. Like
I guess it's more. I know, like a Kazukibuishi, like butter soft, or like
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like smooth is the word. Smooth is kind of the word.
Smooth.
Like it's smooth. Yeah. It's not really soft. I see what you're saying. I just think because of the flex cover, like it leans toward being a soft cover, but it's not quite, which I feel like, nope, I'm going to hold those words back. But I love how it feels in my hand. I would give it an outstanding.
I wish it was grippier. That's why I'm giving it an E. It feels really good, but I wish. Oh no!
I can't hold it.
Dropped it.
Oh no! It's too smooth.
It's too smooth. It's like those little
those
like,
little
tubes
tubey things. Yeah,
with like the blue water. And like,
the water weenies.
No. Yeah. Oh, what happened to those? Those were everywhere. I haven't seen one of those in
students
ages.
use those like crazy. Not in my class, but in my building, they all use those. They're around.
Any of them have a plastic fish inside?
Yep.
Yes.
Or glitter? Yeah. See, there you go. No, I wish it was a little bit grippier, but I like the feel of it. I wish for like reading purposes that it'd be a little.
That makes sense.
A little more stick.
That makes sense. The quality. So, I'm actually gonna say acceptable here because mine at least shows dent and wear really, really, really quickly, especially in the corners where that flexi cover does not hit to keep it stiff. And on my book, on the spine, and you can't see it, I don't think, very easily, but there's like where something nicked like the top plastic coating of this, and it just sticks out like a sore thumb. You can feel it. It's not visible, but I can feel it with my finger, and it's so smooth, it's so smooth, it's so smooth, and then it's like, not at all, and it feels like this giant nick when in reality it's actually quite small. And then also, I think because of the material, I've got some staining down here at the bottom from just being next to other stuff. Because these were brand new when I bought them. So I'm not super much a fan of the quality. Like, the corners show wear super quickly. Like, very super quickly. Because the flexi cover itself just doesn't... There's quite a bit of room between the text block and the edges of the covers. And there's nothing to support the cover at the end of the day. They just kind of crushes in on itself.
I'm agreeing with the A because if you take your fingernail and draw on the cover, it stays there forever.
Oh.
It will not go away. I just wrote my name on the back in this black spot and I can't get it off.
Why would you do that?
That's okay.
Why would you do that?
Because the book has those marks all over it anyway, just from like literally touching it with your fingers or it touching another book. Like it'll draw a line on your cover and it doesn't go away. And you don't notice it if the lighting's fine, but like as soon as you get like a little bit of light tint on there, it shows up. So I don't like that because no matter what you do, if you touch this book, you will leave a mark on the cover.
Yeah.
So I'm giving that an A. Like the rest of it's fine. The pages are good. It's glued well. The binding's fine. I do really like how the end papers are fixed to the soft cover. But it's as cool as the cover is. I don't like that you can't pick it up and look at it because
I think that's the finish. Like, I feel like if it had that buttery soft finish, like what Peter was talking about, then you wouldn't have to worry about that as much. I'll give it acceptable as well, just for that same reason.
Y'all have that on there? Like if you get it in the light,
oh yeah,
do you have all those?
Oh yeah, I've got scratches.
All over?
Yeah.
I'd also give it an acceptable.
A huge one on the back.
All right.
Yep.
Acceptables.
And let's see. Cover art, interpretation of cover art. This is I love this cover, or the cover art, I should say. So I'm going to say it's outstanding. If nothing else, it's unique. But
yeah,
I think I would. I was just going to say I love that this is another Olly Moss. Like we see Olly Moss from what started off as the Kindle covers, and now they're on a lot of other books, translations and whatnot. But this Olly Moss cover is pretty much posters and then the Swedish books. And I actually I prefer these over the ones that are the more ubiquitous Olly Moss covers, to be honest. They're very understated comparatively. And I love how Olly kind of messes with the juxtaposition of color, if you will. But I really like it. Like, I really like how you can kind of see, like, Hagrid and Harry, but it's just shadows, right? It's just more like silhouettes on the cover. And I really like how Hogwarts is all illuminated. Like, ta-da, that's where we're going.
I mean, kind of inaccurate, though. That's the only thing I don't like about it. The moon isn't that bright.
You know, it could be that bright.
I don't know. I've never, these covers never really grabbed me. I think they're beautiful, but they never really grabbed me. So, but I don't want to give it an acceptable because it's still beautiful. So I would say exceeds expectations.
Oh, that's
fair.
Going exceeds expectations because, I don't know. I always find myself comparing it to the other Swedish, which is
very
outstanding,
incredible, right?
Yeah.
And they're right next to each other on the shelf. So, is this as good as that? No. However, I do like the progression that this goes. Like books 1 through 7, it's the same scene with just different things happening. So that's really cool. But you'd only see that if you're looking at all 7 books together. Individually, it's honestly, it reminds me of the Chinese deluxe editions that are the kind of the brownish ones.
Yes.
Those ones up there. Where it's more or less the same. There's just little differences, and it's just not as exciting. It's very kind of plain and low key, but it's cool. And I like that this is the only book you can get this on. So that's why I give it an exceeds expectations, because of the progression, which I guess doesn't really count. But as a book itself, it doesn't do a ton for me. Like there's no eyes popping out of my head like Looney Tunes.
Like when you look at Chamber of Secrets Swedish. Gives me the shivers.
Any of the OG Swedish, honestly, they're so good.
So good.
I tell people all the time, like, if you don't collect translations, that's fine. But if you like Harry Potter books, buy one of these books. You're gonna love it. Like,
they're amazing.
You don't have to have anything else. Just one of these books, and you'll
wind up with all 7 of those Swedish books, because they really do. They're just pieces that you want to show people when they come in. It's like, you think you've seen Harry Potter books, but wait till I show you this one.
Well, to me, it's like just as cool, if not cooler, than like any merch item you can get that you might want to display on your shelf. Like it's a showpiece. It's not just like a regular book. It's so cool, and they're so shiny and just gorgeous.
I agree.
Melanie, did you rate it?
No. I would say exceeds expectations for every single thing that Erik said, though. I was going to say the exact same thing, just about the progression of these throughout the series is really cool. And it's a concept that I like a lot and isn't done often on the covers, but I do like it a lot. So, yeah, I'd give it an exceeds expectations. Okay. I love that you could see the train you guys notice the train? Like you can barely see it.
Yeah.
But I love that. I thought that was cool.
What
if you look really close, you can see Trevor the Toad, like way down there.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
What is the X factor? I've got a good one.
Oh, mine is the flexi cover. Like, where else do we really see that? I was thinking of one other one that had a cover like that, and now I don't remember which one it was.
I think the
maybe?
X factor is the artwork, the fact that this is the only book you can get this on.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mm.
That's a really good one.
I just like the color scheme. Not because I like the color scheme, but I like that it's different than anything else. Like you can tell on the shelf that these are these books, and while that's not like a super zazzy X factor for me, I do like that. I can look at these and be like, oh, those are the Almost Swedish books, which right away. Right there.
Think for me,
and it's cool. And they do look cool together too.
Sorry. I was just going to say mine is that I love how understated this one is compared to the very overstated original Swedish books. Like Swedish, the original editions are like over the top, glittery, zazzy. If they've got a neat element, or if you want a neat element, they've got it somewhere, somehow. And they've got like really neat pages with the stars. Like they thought everything out. And this one is like, yeah, it's a book. You want to read something that's understated? We'll cover that. Here you go. And I love that. Like it's like such an opposite to what we see with the originals, right? Like it's almost more sterile because when you flip through, they have that. They've got, chapter headings and things, but it's like, 10 instead of like 10 with pages and stars. You really know what chapter you're in. This one is like, yeah, it's chapter 10. Here you go. It's just so much more low key and understated. I love that, actually. I love how polar opposite the two editions are. So I think that's mine.
It's a good one.
Any
You got me to say zazzy.
I did. I got you to say zazzy.
You did.
It's catching on.
I was going to say schnazzy, and it's like, no, Eric just said zazzy, so we'll keep the trend. We'll keep it going.
Zazzy. That's from one of my favorite Big Bang Theory episodes where Sheldon names all the cats. Like,
yeah.
Like he adopts all these cats. They're all named like famous scientists. And he gets to the last one and he's like, and this one's name? Zazzles. He's like, Zazzles? Yeah, because he's zazzy.
I just
like,
watched that
Makes no sense
episode last night. It's such a good one.
Oh,
Such
that's
a good show.
one.
I think we did it. What?
Well, that is all the time we have today. If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can find us all on the internet. We are on Instagram. Melanie is at the Harry Potter Collection. I am at Nocturne Eric. Carly is at All the Pretty Books. And Peter
at the Potter
is at the Potter
Collector.
Collector. You can find him there. Also, Peter, you have lots of other places people can find you if you want to just shout out all of those places.
YouTube.
Go for it. Go.
YouTube, Discord, Instagram, Twitter, now known as X, but that is at Potter Collector because at the Potter Collector was too long for Twitter, now known as X.
You still have the Zanga profile and the MySpace page, or are those?
Oh my God! Remember Zanga? I love
Had to get rid of MySpace.
Or mine.
Okay, Tom's gonna miss you. There are some great websites to check out. So Peter has a website. We talked about it earlier. It's got that sale going on. There might still be something left over, so check out his website. You can also check out alltheprettybooks.net, the harrypottercollection.com, and dialoguealley.com, which is slowly metamorphosizing, Melanie.
I like that word.
A more
metamorphosizing.
A more fleshed out website. Yeah, I just made that up just now.
Good job.
Excellent.
Golf clap.
Yeah, so check that out. It's kind of a work in progress, so we're slowly getting more content on there. And if you have any feedback about what you'd like to see on that website, please let us know. You can either leave us a comment directly on the website, or you can email us at dialoguealleypodcast@gmail.com. We have other things that you can find us on besides whatever podcast platform you're listening to us on. So if you're not listening to us on a podcast platform, we're on all the places. We're at all the places. You can go to Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeart, Pandora, Spreaker. What's that really weird one? I can't remember. Never mind. It's lame. Can't remember what it is. I'll remember it in the middle of the night at 3 a.m. and shout it out as I'm like going to get a glass of water.
Poor Rita.
Just put it in the general section.
But you can also
put it in the general section in our Discord.
Rita. Sorry, Rita. Oh, is it Deezer? Is that one of them?
I don't
think
know.
it is. I got an email like when we started. It was like, "You're now on Deezer." I'm like, "Great, that's great news, fantastic! Can't wait to tell everyone." We are also on. This podcast is a MuggleNet family podcast. You can go over to MuggleNet and find us, as well as other Harry Potter content and other Harry Potter related shows that you can listen to. But the last place you can find us is one of our favorite places, and that is on our Discord, which you can access if you are a Patreon supporter. So if you go to patreon.com/dialoguealley, you can sign up for a tier or another tier or a third tier, which gets you access to our Discord, which is a great community for book translation collecting or just talking about Harry Potter books in general. It's a very welcoming community. It's a very close-knit community, and it's also very welcoming. So if you just want to talk about Harry Potter stuff, but particularly if you'd like to start, maybe collecting your own translations, whatever that may look like, we have lots of helpful people on there that are willing to lend you a hand. We also have people that sell books on there all the time too for really cheap. So if you're just looking to kind of get in on the ground floor of translations, lots of people have extra copies, especially of the Marathi second translation. People have those. So if you want one, just join and someone will have one for you. But a couple other perks of joining our Patreon: you get ad-free episodes, you get bonus episodes, and you can also join our live listen-ins, which we had quite a few people listening in live to this episode, which was great. We had a lot of interactivity with people. With their comments and such. So we love doing that. That's great. So did I get everything? Did I miss anything?
You're great.
Carly's giving me a
Thanks,
thumbs
Peter.
up. Great. I just
Wait.
Thanks for having
did all that
What?
from memory.
What are your other Disney
That's what I was
characters?
going to do next.
No, I
Oh,
want
the Disney character.
Oh my gosh.
Before we thank Peter, he's got to come up with his 5 Disney characters.
No, he needs 4 more. Come
This is
on.
the worst. All right, Ursula, Simba.
Okay.
Young or old?
I think old Simba.
Or middle age when you see him on the log
Yeah,
for
no,
about
no
2
yeah,
seconds.
2-second middle-aged Simba. Old Simba, Ursula. Peter Pan.
That's a good one.
Rafiki, maybe. Ooh.
Ooh.
That's a good
That's
one.
a good
Interesting.
one.
Yeah, interesting. And this has to be a good one. Like that's the last one.
Pixar also counts.
You can also say
Yeah, I know. I'm actually thinking about
Yeah,
Pixar
pick-
movies. Well, this isn't a Pixar movie, but I'm thinking of the movie Moana, which is one of my favorites. But don't think I would choose Maui or Moana.
I mean, you could choose Pua, or Hey Hey.
Or Hey Hey.
Hey, hey.
Hey Hey, the unspoken hero of Moana.
Or you could pick the village woman that holds up the blackened coconut. It's not many people's favorite,
True,
but
yeah.
Could be yours.
She only has
Possibly
one.
you.
She only has one line.
Could be yours if
I
the
keep
Disney
hoping to run
character is
into her
right.
I keep hoping to run into her at the parks, and she's never there.
They're the last autograph you need. It's the last one you
It's
need.
the last one I need for my book. I have it all. I want her to sign it in dead coconut soot.
I mean, I do love Mickey. I mean, he's so nostalgic.
Okay. That's fine. Those are all
Yeah.
fine choices.
Yeah, I think I'll put Mickey in there.
Yeah.
Okay. And now
I know
we know.
I know I chose 2 Lion King ones, but
I'm surprised
That's a
you
good
didn't go with
movie.
any Winnie the Pooh.
nah.
Oh,
Christopher Robin.
Or what about
Yours
Brom
Tale.
Bones from the Adventures of Ichabod and Crane?
I don't think I've ever even seen that one.
Oh, that's a good
Ichabod
one.
and Mr. Toad.
Oh, the what?
Toad.
Oh, no, yeah.
That's
I've
big-
never seen Mr.
Ichabod
Toad
and Mr.
either.
Toad.
I love
Oh,
Mr.
yeah.
Toad.
Oh. Have you
That's
been on
all-
Mr. Toad's Wild Ride,
No.
though?
I haven't.
That's,
I know.
That's the Landers. That's
I
a
need to get back to Disney.
Disneylander thing.
I know I have to get back to Disneyland.
Oh, on the land.
Shame on you, Peter. Yeah, those are mine. Those are my 5.
Amazing.
Okay.
Thank
Awesome.
you. Thank you for that. I needed
And with
that.
that thrilling conclusion, which, well, I think we now have to ask every guest on the show and just put them on the spot.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with Harry Potter, but we
works out.
need to know.
Yeah.
There'll be someone that'll be like, I don't watch Disney movies. And, like, that's their
Yeah.
answer.
I
I'm like,
only
oh,
like
Okay.
Harry Potter.
well, Ed, we're going to edit that out. Anyway, Peter, thank you so much for joining
Thank you,
us.
guys.
Always a pleasure to have you on.
Thanks for having me again.
Thanks.
Oh, yeah. Anytime. And with all of that being said, it is time to walk back through the archway and into all of our daily lives. And we'll catch you next time on Dialogue Alley. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.